I hope you've had some really good learnings and some really lovely conversations and connections in those breakout workshops that we've just had. So in these final sessions, you're going to hear what's coming next for Aurora and for you as alumni. We're going to take a little bit of time to reflect on the day, and then I'll hand over to Tracy Bell-Reeves to close the session out. So with that in mind, let me hand over to Steve Lloyd and Claire Burgess, who have been working very hard on the next plans for Aurora and how we're going to engage for you as alumni. And they will share that with you now. So over to Steve.
Great, thanks Fiona, really appreciate it, and good afternoon everyone. So my name's Steve Lloyd. I'm one of the assistant directors in the DKQ team, which Tracy leads here at Advance HE. And I'm lucky enough to have been involved in Aurora for about 8 years now. So I was part of the Leadership Foundation before we became Advance HE and joined at the latter part of 2015. And I have to say I'm massively proud to be a very small part of such an impactful program within higher education. I've had kind of different roles within Leadership Foundation and Advance HE over the time, but Aurora has always been a constant for me. And a lot of my role now is focused on the kind of expansion of Aurora and growing that internationally as well. And probably the part of my role that I really love the most is particularly when we get to work with champions and host sort of champion networking events, and I get to spend some time with colleagues talking about the ongoing impact of the program and the incremental and substantive changes that we're making as we evolve kind of Aurora through the ages. So great to see so many of you here, and just going to talk a little bit now about the kind of advancement of the offer and the work we've been doing. So in terms of our alumni offer, this is really the kind of kickoff of that. And, I think it's fair to say, kind of 10 years in, I think this is something that we would have liked to have done maybe a few years back. It's certainly something we've been talking about, but given things like global pandemics and other such kind of contributing factors, it's obviously been a little bit longer in the making than we would have liked, but we're so excited to be here today as a collective and with a further offer to talk to you about. And as you can imagine, over the last kind of 18 months or 2 years, we've been doing quite a lot of research. Again, given the scale of Aurora and our connections into universities and into institutions and into the sector, we've got a really good kind of sounding board. We collect a lot of data from champions and institutions. We collect a lot of data from you as participants and evaluation and feedback. So we have lots of different avenues to collect kind of feedback and insight about your progression through Aurora and where it's taken you, and also what you're looking for afterwards. That set aside, we also did a formal alumni survey, and I'm sure a number of colleagues on this Teams call contributed to that. So thank you. And we had over 100 participants from across the Aurora graduate years fill that in last year. And then we also hosted a number of alumni focus groups as well. And the primary objective of those was to kind of unpack a little bit more at a point in time, the impact of Aurora and where it had taken people, and some of the data that Alison mentioned and other bits of data that have come up and you've seen today came from that activity. So that was great, getting a better understanding of what Aurora had done for people and where it had taken them. And also through that project, we spent a bit of time kind of unpacking the needs and the support and what people are looking for from an alumni community. So based on the kind of research we've done, we've also got a champion advisory group. So as you're hopefully aware, each university that partakes in Aurora has a centralized university Aurora champion. Often there might be a couple of champions. Often there's someone who kind of helps with the connection with Advance HE, and there might also be a kind of SLT member or a senior kind of champion in the organization as well. And we really encourage that. but we've got a smaller cohort of that champion community of about 150 of 15 colleagues from across the UK and Ireland who are our kind of sounding board. And we formed that group about over a year ago, nearly a year and a half ago now, to help us with this work. So we've got that community to tap into as well. So what we're going to talk about now is really a combination of bringing all of that work together. It's not fully formed yet, and we are kind of working through it and progressing, but we wanted to provide an update today. And just before I hand over to Claire to talk to her part of it, it's been really good today actually to see some of the conversations in the chat and some of the stuff coming up in the sessions and in the breakout groups, and hearing some of those conversations around kind of what you're looking for and some of the areas that you need further support around your development. We haven't got them all covered, but there's certainly a lot of what we've heard today certainly chimes with what we've heard in our research and what we're looking at developing and bringing over the next couple of years. So I'm going to hand over to Claire. She's got a few slides to talk us through in terms of the Connect network that we've built and we'll be launching shortly, and the networking sessions that she's going to be running, and then it will come back to me and I'll just talk a little bit more about the developmental offer that we're in the process of building and piloting for next year. So over to you, Claire, if that's okay, please.
Yeah, brilliant, thank you. And it's been great. It's been great to be here all day, and the people that were with me for the resilience session is definitely showing that actually we're all talking about the right kind of stuff, which is great. I've got a few things to show you here, just a couple of slides. So as Steve mentioned, what we are going to be sending out to you in the next few days is inviting you all to this online community. It was very heartening this morning to hear lots of talk about the desire for reconnection and networking, and also the appreciation of working in an online space where actually then we can connect with colleagues from all over, all over the British Isles and beyond, I guess. So yeah, it's really encouraging to hear that. What we have created, and definitely this again is an evolving piece of work, is an online community for you to come together. So all of you from different institutions and from different cohorts as well, to be able to come together. And so it's called Connect, the community that you'll be invited to, or that's the platform that it's on. And yeah, you'll have an invite to join our community. So when you join, you'll see it like this. So this isn't a technical bit to show you how to use it technically, but it's very straightforward. It's a chance for you to dive in, I say, make those connections, but also to carry on your learning as well. So as you'll see along the top here, there's different things for you to be involved in terms of a live feed, where I'll show you that in a minute, and networking events and different forums as well. So what we're going to do once a month, starting this month actually, so starting at the end of November, there's going to be an opportunity for you to come together and to meet with the others in the wider community. And we're going to alternate these, being a mixture of things that are around a topic theme that we know are key topics. So the first one around resilience in the widest sense, resilience and well-being. And then each other month is going to be it's not so much around a topic, but a chance for you to connect. And these are the opportunities for you to actually forge those connections with others. Again, lots of conversation earlier about wanting to recreate action learning groups and things like that. So again, this is a chance for you to chat with those. So on that networking events tab are all the details of the different things that you can join, how you can book onto those, all of the different elements there. We've also got a space which is a forum space, and what I'm going to be doing on there is I'm going to be posting a discussion topic every week, and what I would really appreciate, and I'm sure after conversations today there'll be no one holding back of wanting to participate in giving your opinions on different elements. It's a chance for you to be able to share your ideas on different topics, and really create a space where we can all learn from each other. That will be really helpful as we go through the year. There'll be lots of different topics for you to dive into there. There's also an opportunity, it's called Content Library, where you'll have a chance to be able to look at different resources that we've got to share. Again, at the moment, I've got a couple of things in there about resilience, a couple of things about in a more general sense, but over the year, this will develop and grow. And what I would love as well is that for all of you to be able to contribute anything that you think is useful to go in there to share with others in our community too. And the last thing for me to share on here is what's called live feed, which is a more informal space. So this is a chance for you to have those conversations, for you to introduce yourself, for you to talk about maybe the kind of connections that you might be interested in, sharing ideas, asking advice, collaborating with other people. So again, this is a chance for you to be able to develop those connections again in a slightly different way. And what we say about all of this, but particularly about this live feed, it is a safe space where we can be honest and ask for support for other people, but also where we respect other people. We respect other people's opinions and perspectives there too. And I know that everyone from working with the people on Aurora, as I have done in the past, and also from today, I know that that's something that you're all really good at already. So I just wanted to give you a little flavour for that. I really hope that I will see as many of you there as possible. Come and dive in, introduce yourself in the live feed, come and see what we've got going on in the forums, join in the conversation, look at all the resources that we've got there, and yeah, hopefully see you in the live event. The first one's at the end of November. So look forward to seeing you then. And Steve, I'll pass that back to you.
Great, thanks Claire, really appreciate it. And I've just got a couple more slides to talk through just on the sort of developmental offer that we're creating as well. So colleague Rosie will just load those for me if we haven't got them. Okay, so that's fine. We haven't got those loaded up. That's fine. I can talk through and we can share those afterwards. So obviously that is the offer that kind of connects and builds after Aurora and really creates that opportunity to stay connected as a community. And I think kind of some of the sort of buzzwords that resonate with me when I hear people talking about Aurora, you know, having that community, those networking sessions, just give you an opportunity, as much or as little as you want, to just kind of re-energize and re-tap into that energy of Aurora that we all see and hear. It provides access to that kind of support network, as Claire described, such a critical part, as we know from you know, our evaluation of Aurora. Just that confidence of having that peer community. You know, we talked a lot today about confidence and that growth in confidence attributed to Aurora. So just kind of re-energizing that as well. And you know, you leading as a group of women leaders in HE, you know, that kind of champion element of championing and leading the way, I think is really important. So hopefully what Claire has talked about there will allow you to tap into some of that and connect it nicely back to Aurora. So on top of that, and that is ready to go, and we're excited to launch that today, we're also developing a more focused kind of developmental offer that really builds on the content covered in Aurora. So this is just how we've got our aim down at the moment. It's still a work in progress, but as you can see here, the aim is to deliver a paid-for developmental offer that builds on and connects to the content covered in Aurora, allowing alumni to engage in further learning on specific topics or to further develop their leadership practice through practical support. An offer that retains the approach to development of Aurora and strengthens further the peer network of women leaders in higher education. So we're really conscious of anything that we're doing really feels like it connects back into Aurora and the design principles of Aurora and really builds on what people learn. We recognize that Aurora, you know, we cover so much content during the course of the modules and through the program. Sometimes we only scratch the surface and we don't have time to go into depth in every single topic. We provide additional resources and people go and explore, but we know there are some kind of critical topics that people kind of want to do more development on, or perhaps, you know, a year or a couple of years or a few years down the track are looking to kind of reconnect into that Aurora activity and develop. So that's our aim. And if Rosie, if you're happy to click through to the next slide, please. So these are some of the core topics we've identified so far. And this is also one of the reasons why we kind of piloted some shorter sessions this afternoon. So again, some of the key topics, and they've come up today in the session we've been hosting, particularly around resilience and well-being, and putting in some further developmental support around that. Building on Suzanne's session on visible credibility. Some more stuff building on what you learn in Aurora around communication, influence, and there's quite a lot of evidence coming up around a need for more support around kind of negotiation as well. So that's another kind of critical topic we've identified. Obviously, connecting into Jo's session, that taster session she run on career development. We'll be looking to develop a further offer on that. And then we feel there's an opportunity that we're exploring around taking what you've learned on Aurora and connecting that back in to your role in an institution in whatever form that may take. Now, a number of colleagues will come out of Aurora and hopefully relatively soon after completing the program will go into their perhaps first formal leadership role. So looking at what are the opportunities and what is the further support we can put in place around that. And of course, with a number of colleagues that may have graduated 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago, many of you will already be leading substantive teams. So is there an offer in the space to kind of reconnect into Aurora for those more established leaders? So those are the kind of key areas that we're looking at, and those are some of the modules we're developing over the coming months and are looking to pilot in more detail in the next calendar year and before the end of the academic year. So final slide from me. So we're going to be sending out lots of information. Obviously, you'll have access to the Connect group. We'll keep everything updated there. Everyone here should be on our GDPR compliant email list. So you're on our mailing list so we can send you information. And of course, we will send more information out to your institutions and particularly through the Champion Network. So there'll be lots of information about all of these offers. Obviously, we've got the email address there if you've got any questions. And it's really important to keep finding out about this stuff that you opt into the mailing list. So I can't stress that enough. It's really important that you, if you haven't already, that you opt in at that link there, and we can share that after the session as well. Now we've got sort of just over 300 in the room today, and we've got pushing 1,000 registered already on that mailing list. But obviously there are over 10,000 alumni. So a bit of a call to arms for colleagues in the room, because we don't have, people who graduated a number of years ago, we're not always going to have all of their up-to-date contact details. So if you know of colleagues in your institutions that are Aurora alumni, or you've got friends or whoever it might be, please keep spreading the word that we're doing this activity. We want everyone to be able to access it, particularly the Connect activity and the networking events. So please do, share your experiences today and make sure that people are getting the access to all of this stuff that we're developing. So that's it from me, and we'll follow up with more information. And I think I'm handing back to Fiona. So thanks, everyone.
Great, thanks very much, Steve. And we're just in the final couple of minutes. And as we bring the session to a close, I wanted to invite you to put into the chat just one reflection, and that is, what are you going to do differently as a result of being with us today? That might be something for yourself, for your community, for your institution, for your connections. So we would love to hear some of those. I can already see Nam's put in, ask for some feedback, making time for development. I've seen slow thinking coming past twice now. How fantastic. Please keep those coming in and through. It's wonderful to see what an impact this day has had on you. And I want to add my personal thanks to all of your engagement and everything that we've heard today from our amazing speakers. And with that, let me just hand over to Tracy now to close us out.
Okay, so very quickly from me, because I'm conscious we're at time. So all I really want to say very quickly are 3 things. So first of all, I hope our commitment to you as an Aurora community is evident and tangible. And you can see the effort and the energy that has gone into thinking about how we can re-engage with our Aurora alumni community and work with you in partnership to shape it. So my second point is to say huge thank you to Steve, to Fiona, to Shanice, Sarah, and all of our presenters, all our contributors today. So virtual round of applause, because they put a lot of work into this, I know. And sorry, Amy, mustn't forget Amy as well, Amy Hartley, who is our development manager, who's been the kind of innovator as well around much of the ideas here. So thank you to everyone. And we really hope to see you again. My third point, please come back, please engage with us, keep connected, keep reconnecting with each other. And please do, as Steve said, and I put in the chat, spread the word. The joys of GDPR. If you did Aurora some time ago, we have got to re-engage with you. And we've got you here today, but we know there are many others. So people change roles. I know people have said, can we have personal emails? We can't do that for technical reasons. So we're relying on you to be our word bearers and go out there and spread the word, and let's get everybody back engaged in Aurora. Thank you. Have a great rest of day. Cheerio.
Thank you.